everyone. This is Tina Heisman. Thank you so much for joining me today on our weekly marriage coaching call. Before we dive into our topic, I just wanted to let you know that I do have a free private group on Facebook where you can come to get inspiration for your marriage. I call it the Happy Wives Community, and that's on purpose because I want it to be a more happy and inspirational place and not necessarily a place where people are just venting. And so it's a very supportive place and a positive place. And so you can find it at facebook.com/groups/the Happy Wives Community. And if you can't remember that, you can just head on over to my website, and there's a banner at the bottom of the front page. You can click on it, and it'll take you right there. So my web address is tinaheisman.com. Okay, so with that said, let's dive in. And this is an interesting call topic today, I think. It's how to change your husband. So if you're listening to this, I am guessing that some of your husband's personal habits maybe weren't deal breakers when you first got married, but now that time has gone on, perhaps you're feeling a little more annoyed with them or with him. You know, maybe it's things like leaving his laundry on the floor or not putting dishes in the dishwasher or not lifting a finger while you're doing the laundry or never putting gas in the car or maybe not helping with the kids as often as you like. I think pretty much every married person would have a list of habits and things that our spouse does that make us crazy at times, right? And sometimes they're more stressful than others. But what I want to share with you today is that it is possible for you to help change these bad habits without being the annoying, nagging wife. And I know that you've probably tried this nagging thing and it doesn't work. You know, you've tried nagging, you've tried complaining, and you've tried even like talking to him about it and telling him how much it bothers you or means to you, and like nothing has ever changed. And I want you to know that there is a way. I'm going to share a marriage secret that you can use to change your husband and feel happier. You'll both be much happier. So here's the big secret, right? Here comes the big secret, and then after you hear the secret, hang in there with me, and I will tell you why it works and how to make it work for you, okay? I'm not going to just leave you hanging. So the secret to creating change in your husband is that it has to be his idea. Okay? It has to be his idea. This is just something that is true for men. And my mother-in-law told me this many, many years ago when I was having trouble with my husband. She would be like, it has to be his idea. So how do we make it his idea to pick up his laundry or help with the kids? How do we do that? Like, what are we, like telepathic? Can we put thoughts in their head? Well, maybe a little bit. So that's where this gets good. And here's the thing, ladies. Here's where I get more serious. Creating change in your husband starts with creating change in you, okay? So let me tell you a few things here, a few things. Have you ever heard someone say, what you focus on grows? Or have you ever heard someone say, what you think about, you bring about? Or how about this one? This is my favorite in this instance. You will always find evidence for what you're looking for. Okay? So let's go with an example of a husband who's leaving his clothes on the floor all the time. Okay? Let's kind of walk through this. So for that wife that might be frustrated because he just always leaves his clothes on the floor and never picks it up, you're probably thinking from time to time, it's probably not always as bad, but you might be thinking that he's an uncaring person or that, you know, he's a slob or he's messy. And if you're thinking that, you're going to find evidence of that. You're going to find evidence whenever he leaves his clothes on the floor or anything else for that matter. If he leaves, you know, his pen on the counter or he leaves his shoes, you know, by the door, like right in front of the door. Everywhere you look in your house, you're going to be like, aha, see, I knew it. Uncaring slob, doesn't care about me, leaves his stuff everywhere. We're incompatible, right? And you work it up in your mind to like, he must not care about me, or he would pick up his clothes because he knows it means so much to me. I know. I've been there. So the question is, Are we stuck with this person? Are we stuck with dealing with this behavior for the rest of our lives? Because conventional wisdom tells us you can't change people, right? Like we've heard that. You can't change people. But we can encourage the change in our spouse in the most awesome way possible. And I have done this in my marriage, and I have plenty of other clients who have done in their marriage too. A big example in our life is, well, the clothes thing is an example in my life. That one I've just more or less, it comes and goes. But the big one is with making the bed. He makes the bed every morning now, and I love it. And so I'm going to share with you like how I got him to do that. So the magical thing that I want you to know about your husband here, because you've got all this negative stuff in there, he's driving you crazy. The thing I want you to know is that he wants to please you. He really, really does. But sometimes some of us wives create so much fuss over things that they kind of give up. They feel like they're never going to please us, so why bother trying, right? So if we want to get him to change and show him how he can please us, we have to make it be his idea and lead him along. So where do we start with that? How do we get these thoughts in his mind? The secret starts in your mind, truthfully. It starts by changing the thoughts that you think about your husband and the words that come out of your mouth, right? We've already talked about the nagging. That's not helping. We've tried it, right? We know that's not helping. So let's take our example of our awesome husband here, but this guy's not picking up his dirty laundry and it's making us crazy. I'm just picking a really easy example for you. How do we get him to pick it up? 2 steps. We have 2 steps. The first step, you are going to handle this exactly the opposite of how you normally would. So instead of nagging or complaining to him, I want you to take a deep breath, just like I just did, and let it go. Walk on by the pile, smile, shoot up a prayer for him. You know, like we want to turn our mind to something more positive. Shoot up a prayer for him. Like if he's at work, you know, God, please bless my husband while he's at work today. Or if he's at the dentist, please bless my husband while he's at the dentist today. Shoot up a prayer for him. That will help you turn your mind around a little bit. You know, and why is this important? As a little side note right here, I just want to tell you from my heart, I am a neat freak, firstborn type A. My husband is a middle child, kind of more thinks like rules are meant to be broken. And so I value neatness and cleanliness, and he doesn't really, you know, like anything he does, he's doing for me. And so before we went through a really rough time in our marriage where we didn't know if we would make it, I would complain about all these things and gripe about all of these things. And that would make him mad and angry and feel unloved and disrespected. And what I learned going through that is that I would really rather have my husband at home and happy with a pile of clothes on the floor than not home at all. And I experienced that, where I could look that choice right in the face. And so that's just a little side note to help give you maybe some motivation for why you're going to try this tactic. So the first thing we said, step 1, was you're not going to complain or nag about it. You're going to stop that. You're going to walk by it. You could pick up the clothes. Like if it's bothering you that bad, go ahead and pick it up. But watch yourself. Like make sure you're not like swearing at him or thinking bad about him when you do it. You know, if that's how it's going to be, then don't pick them up. Just leave them there for him. But if you can say, you know what, I'm picking these up because it matters to me and it can be something positive, then go ahead and pick them up. Otherwise, just leave them there, okay? So that's the first step. The second step is, this is really the big one, to compliment him anytime he does pick up his laundry or anything else for that matter. This is vital, and it is the exact opposite of what you've been doing. It's men thrive on praise. It means so much to them. I've talked about this in other calls. As women, we want to be loved for who we are on the inside. But men want to be respected for what they do on the outside. So if you pay him a compliment, thank you for emptying the dishwasher. Thank you for picking up your clothes. Thank you for making the bed. Thank you for putting gas in the car. Thank you for taking out the trash, something you totally expect him to do. If you can do that, that builds him up, really and truly. So tell him face-to-face, tell him in a text message, tell him over the phone, whatever you've got to do. But right when you notice it, if you're like, oh, he unloaded the dishwasher this morning, or put his bowl in the dishwasher, whatever it is, text him or call him or say something to him and let him know. Just say, thank you so much. I know she did that. It really means a lot to me. Short and simple. You don't have to go into anything. Keep it short and simple. Less is more, ladies, okay? So it's a two-step process. You're going to stop nagging and start praising. It goes against, like, every little nerve in your body. Like, I can feel it as I'm standing here right now, because I know, like, for me, with stuff like I want to nip it in the bud. I want to get it over with and taken care of, and I want everyone to know where I stand. But that's not how it works with guys. And, you know, the reason this process works is two things. Number one, what we talked about in the beginning with what you think about, you bring about, and how you'll always find evidence of whatever you believe. So if you will work on this two-step process, you're going to spare yourself the self-inflicted drama over ruminating about something like someone's dishes or clothes. And the second reason is because, what we just mentioned, every man thrives on praise. They do not respond to criticism at all. In fact, a criticism makes your husband put up every defense mechanism he has, and you usually notice it with anger. If you say something to your husband and your response is visible anger, that's a great clue that he's just felt disrespected and criticized. And so we want to do the opposite of that. It's kind of like, you know, there is a lot of theories out there with parenting that we're supposed to ignore the bad behavior and praise the good. That's what we're talking about here, right? And really, guys, girls, I should say, this is for your own peace and sanity. It's important that we realize how much we are hurting ourselves by letting all this negativity take up space in our brain and in our minds. You know, it really makes things even worse than they are. We just work ourselves up with so much over something so small. And we have much more important things to do. I know we do. Like we need that brain space to be more positive and creative and enjoyable, you know, spending time with our kids and our family. So let's think about that, right? Like, is it worth all this drama I'm creating in my mind? And I want to point this out. This conversation that you and I are having right now, it's not me trying to accuse you of anything. This happens to you subconsciously. You don't even know it's happening. It just is kind of the way, I guess, we've been raised. And so you're not doing it on purpose. But to make this bad habit go away is going to take a little bit of effort and energy on your part. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And the crazy thing is, it actually takes less energy to be negative, and that's why in the beginning, that's why we get stuck there. But if we'll take some energy and get rid of the negativity, then we're going to be feeling so much more free, so much more positive. And so the other thing I want to point out to you is, in addition to like ruminating in your mind of all of this negativity, by expecting bad behavior from our husbands or bad habits, we're conditioning ourselves to see them, right? We expect to see the clothes on the floor. We expect to see the shoes, you know, by the door. We expect to see no gas in the car, whatever it is. Isn't that negative and yucky? Like, why are we letting ourselves get stuck here? There's so many more wonderful things to think about. And I know that you believe that too. So what we're doing by being stuck in all this negativity is allowing our thoughts to prove to us on a daily basis that our husband doesn't care about us, that he's messy and he doesn't care about us. Is that the man we want? No. Is that the husband we want? No. What do we want? We want a husband who is considerate and, you know, maybe he's neat in his habits, or he's thoughtful or helpful or romantic, whatever it is, whatever you want your husband to be, start looking for evidence of that. Do you have that? Like, that's huge. write down, that's going to be your homework, okay? I want you to write down the qualities that attracted you to your husband in the first place. What did you see in him that first attracted you to him? What good qualities does he have now? You know, like, was he well organized or spontaneous or brave? Whatever it is, take some time today and make a list. See if you can come up with at least 10 good qualities of your husband. And then I want you to commit between now and next week when we talk. Commit to 1 week of looking for these positive qualities in him. So when you spot one, maybe make a note in your journal or something like, oh, and what am I going to say next? And when you spot one, compliment him on it, right? Let him know you just saw him being so caring with your daughter today, and you love that. Thank you. Or maybe he filled up the car with gas for you. Thank you so much for filling up the car with gas. Whatever these positive qualities are or positive behaviors, work on complimenting him for that. You are going to see a huge change. And while you're doing this, just as an experiment, okay, I'm not telling you can never complain again, but what about for this 1 week period, we nix all the complaining, okay? And if you want, pick one topic. Like if you do have that big thing that you just really wish you could change about your husband, maybe just focus on that one area for this week. Look for evidence of good and positive things, and don't complain when he does something negative. And I am evidence that this works, and my many other clients who I have taught this, it feels like magic when it starts working, but I know that it will feel like work when you're doing it. But just do the work and then feel the magic happen. This is something that a lot of other marriage researchers have talked about, including like Ashanti Feldhahn and Emerson Eggerichs. I think that's how you say his last name. These are some great Christian social researchers who are actually doing research for us to show us how we can be happier in our marriage. So just to summarize it up, your homework for this week, you're going to look for the positive qualities in your husband that you want to see. You're going to make a list of at least 10 of them. Write them down. And in the following, this week, in this current week, commit to looking for one of these positive qualities in him, or all of them. Pick one or all of them, whatever works for you. Write it down when you see it, and then ignore the negative. Anything negative you see, we're going to ignore it for 1 week. We're not going to complain, and we're going to compliment him when we do see him doing something that we love, okay? All right, guys, this has been fun, and I am looking forward to talking with you after the call in our Q&A section. That's the end of my formal part of the message, and so I'm going to unmute the call. I do want to let you know before I do that, though, that I have a free marriage makeover guide on my website that will kind of help you fix any challenges that you have in your marriage. So you can head over to my website at tinaheisman.com to download your copy for free. And then don't forget about the Happy Wives community. It's a low-maintenance, easy thing if you want to join us on Facebook. And, of course, I offer one-on-one marriage coaching for women, so you can stop by my website or email me to learn more. Thank you so much for joining the call today. I will be back next week with a new topic. And for now, I'm going to stop the recording and unmute the call.